Hey everybody, let me tell you what kind of morning it is. It is, well, for me it's Tuesday. By the time I put this on the air, it'll probably be, like I always say, Tuesday of 2019. But either way, it's Tuesday, and there's different barometers you could use to judge how your morning's going. In the afternoon, you can hit the coffee machine at 10 o'clock and then 12 o'clock. Or there's days like today, it's 7:14 in the morning, and I grabbed an energy drink for my lunch, and now it's in my hand, and now I need to drink it.
Because in either game, life or football, the margin for error is so small. I mean, one half a step too late or too early, and you don't quite make it. 1/2 second too slow, too fast, you don't quite catch it. The inches we need everywhere around us. Hell yeah. They're in every break of the game, every minute, every second.
Legal.
Hey everybody, good morning, good afternoon, and I won't say it, I'm not going to say it, I'm not going to say goodnight, because that's what you'd expect me to say. But then again, you'd expect me to not say it, so I'm going to say it. And good night. Good show, guys. So we took the food, the Nextella, to a kind of a flea market, the Orange County Swap Meet, and we were selling some product, and we did. You also expect me to say, okay, the fact that we were there, we had a product, we had an idea, we put the idea into manufacturing, we did all the things that you're supposed to do with any product, which is a lot of work, a lot of arguing, labeling, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm not a food guy, so if somebody's listening and they think, oh, well, how do you do all that? Well, you just get with smart people that are good in their area, and you do a good job in your area, and things happen. Obviously there's more to all that, but you start with the simplest form of everything. Who's good in sales? All right, you are. Okay, who's the manufacturing guy? Okay, you are. Who's the developer? You are. And then everything comes together. Of course, it's never that seamless, but at least you have to have a plan. And the one thing that our company, the food company, is going through, and there's growing pains in that we're getting bigger, and the problem is we have one president of the company, a buddy of mine, and you cannot have a bunch of mini presidents. And I was discussing this with him, that we need to double down on our roles, because mine tends to be sales and marketing, though if manufacturing needs a hand, I'll go in there with my stuff and do my thing. But I'm good at selling things to people, and maybe I'll explain a little bit later why I think I'm good. It's not just a numbers thing. And then the marketing thing is, I'm not the best marketer, but what I did is I just read every marketing book. I listened to everybody that I thought was doing well, and what's this person doing? So maybe I became a good marketer. Maybe I'm average, but the point is where you are lacking, you could supplement it with things, and in some cases you'll be as good or better, because if you it's like the person that's needs to compensate for something. You're neglected by your parents, so you're going to reach out to other people more, so because you want that love, or so it's like I knew I wanted to be a good sales and marketing person. So, and I probably wasn't gifted like some people So I had to compensate for it. I had to read up and talk to other people and listen. I mean, when 20 years ago, I'd be at a convention in Chicago and see some of these guys that were lifetime, just your typical sales guy. I mean, these guys were that's just what they did. They were just smooth as molasses, and I would ask them, I go, hey, where can you go to school for this? What do you do? And they would just say, you know what? You can't learn it. It can't be taught. And you just have to do it. You just have to do it over and over and over again. And, luckily I learned that at a young age, so I was never distracted. And it kind of gave me the mindset of, if you're not good at something, it doesn't mean you need to move on. It just means you need your reps. And I always use the example of like a comedian. You take the funniest comedian, and he probably didn't start out that way. There's probably tapes of him just bombing, doing horrible, and then eventually he just got comfortable with it. Or an MC in front of a crowd. And even if it's at a young age, like my daughter Nancy, the 7-year-old, she's a natural. She's got a gift from God as far as speaking in front of crowds. I put her, gave her a product over the weekend, and she sold it like nobody's business. And I didn't tell her to. I told her, I go, you need to sell one jar. We were selling Nextella. I go, you need to sell one jar of this before you can go on the jumper. And so she sold it. She said, I'm scared, I'm this and that, but she still did it because that was her talent. But she was still a little scared. And she needed to, and then when she sold 2 jars, it made her day, and then she still even talks about it, a few days later. So it's like, even if she just had talent, if she was never pushed or never did her reps, she would not be as good as the person that was average that just constantly did it. What was interesting about the fair, it's a marketplace, I shouldn't say fair, and it kind of reminds me of, I want to say carny, like the people that get the carnival rides and they go from town to town, but it's not that homeless type of atmosphere. It's more of everybody kind of knows each other, because they see each other every weekend and maybe sometimes in the middle of the week. But they have this kind of a camaraderie because they're all trying to make a living, and none of them are stupid because they talk to people every day, all day for a living. They find out what people want and they provide that service. That makes you wise, because you cannot do this if you know everything. You're so smart. And if you're not going to learn from your customers and not sell anything, you'll only be as smart as pretty much, unless you stumble on something, you're not going to get any wiser. But these people are constantly learning. But they accept their fate. They know that they're probably not going to be big time. A lot of them start out that way. And like myself too, I start out thinking, okay, this should be a national product. And because we have a healthy food that tastes good. And many other products that are kind of waiting in the wings, and a team that hopefully has its stuff together. But who knows? I mean, I've dabbled with, okay, how much time do I spend here before we punt? That's just the way you have to look at things. Not, okay, I'm going to take this to my grave, because guess what? You're going to take that and a bunch of debt to your grave too. So it's best you hold on as long as you can, and you think, this really is not getting any traction. There's something better, and then I'll step over to that. So anyway, we're at the market, and say my daughter, I love to bring my kids to these places, just for the fact that at a young age, the kids need to have confidence more than anything else. Confidence is everything. And if my kids get into sales later on, they will not be intimidated, because they will remember going with their dad at a young age to pitch these products at these shows, or when we go into supermarkets and we talk to the managers or whatever it is. I mean, I'm taking with the cleaning company, I take the kids to my customers' homes, and we talk, and some of them are high profile people, and they would, it's weird. It's the same, in the same way that young people can be destroyed, like the elephant at the circus. You could go by any circus today that has an elephant. Well, you're going to be going by a lot of circuses because I think they got rid of elephants at circuses. So enjoy your $300 trip to the circus and not see one damn animal. The only animal you're going to see is a crow in the parking lot when you're walking to the big tent. Outside of that, so back in the day when they used to have elephants, when this used to be a free country and people had more rights than the animals, they would tie an elephant to the tent. And a young elephant would pull, and nothing would happen. And the big elephant would just sit there. A big elephant could pull that tent down, which is probably one great pull, but it learned at a young age, I could pull as hard as I can and that tent stopped moving. So as that elephant got older, it just gave up. It just stopped because it remembered when it was young. And it almost has nothing to do with reality now, but in kind of comparison, at a young age, if a kid is always defeated or doesn't feel like he can do anything, they're going to carry that into when they're older. But if a kid remembers, hey, I could sell, I could speak in front of people, I did it when I was younger, I see my dad do it, it's in my blood, and whatever else they come up with, it will give them the confidence to do it when they're older and to do it better. And again, you have to get your reps in. You're going to be better the more you do it. But at least it's a springboard to get into it. And then the confidence of them selling is going to help them go forward. And this, you could apply this to anything, whatever it is. But I'm just happening to use sales as an example. And speaking of sales, because I have a business show, I love these. It's kind of like going to your roots again when you talk to the people, and obviously it's a small venue. People selling beef jerky and stuff, and then we can go to a big venue where Costco, the buyers are talking to us, but it's kind of like we're honing in our skills. I feel like Jay Leno going to the wherever he goes, Laugh Factory or some little private club, and Regis stick back in the day just to test it on that audience. And how do you get I wonder how you get tickets to that. That'd be pretty sweet, just to go to a small little venue and get a private show. I feel like a king, and he's the Cheshire. So we're at these little shows, and it's just you kind of take mental notes, and there's the old thing of everybody goes by, hey, you want to try samples, and in sales, I'll give you a tip. Never ask a question, especially right away, that somebody could say no to. You always ask a question like, in my case was, who's the chocolate lover? For people that kind of act interested. So now you get them involved, and then once they show some sort of involvement, you can ask them a yes question, but not related to a sell. So just trying to think of one off the top of my head. A lot of this you just do on the fly because you want to adjust it to each person. And you say, let's say they got a lot of bags in their hand, and just say, you look like a person that needs 4 more bags, because that would be a no question. So let's see, what would be a yes question? Because you want to guarantee a yes. Say, well, you ready to go sit on the massage chair? And then they'll be, oh yeah, or something like that. And then once they say that, yeah, it actually, that mentally, they can say yes again. And maybe that's too soon. You want to, and we're just selling chocolate here, so you got your interactions has to be a little bit faster than selling a car. But eventually, you'll ask them an involved question like, we sell a jar and then single servings. You would ask them, so if you were to buy, which one do you think would suit you? The single, because they're not committed to anything, so it's easier for them to get involved. If you tell them which one do you want to buy, now they're involved. They're not going to answer. They're going to give you an excuse. So if you say, which one do you think you would use more, the single servings or the jar? Now they're involved. So now you get that yes question where they say yes, and then after that, then you can close them. And there's 1,000 ways to close, and the best one is if you're to buy it, do you normally pay credit card or cash? And then there you go, you know. And or sorry, we don't have bags. Would you be able to carry these out of here, or something like that? That's kind of a one step removed from a close, but and then when they reach for their wallet, then you're done.